Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is, this is my voice, Tuesday. It is the 2022 version of May the 25th. Could be wrong on that. Could be wrong. You're back here with me, Sean Butler, at the Spurs Talk Show. And Bugsy. Don't ever forget Bugsy. Bugsy's got a lot to say on today's show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first show post-qualification for the top four. I did a hell of a lot of streaming on Sunday with the Irish Hotspur and Jack Kinnicky, getting the job done, and what a beautiful thing it was. Didn't do one yesterday. Everybody else was streaming, and I thought I'd take the foot off the gas, have a breath, collect my thoughts, and then come at you today with this as the first piece of business. Talk a little bit about some transfer news that's, I don't know, upsetting me a little bit, or confusing me a little bit, I should say. And Bugsy's a little bit pissed off with it as well, but we'll get to that. And then maybe tonight, I think tonight, guys, I'm doing a show where we can go into more detail in all of the different transfer news, views, and clues as we start silly season for Tottenham Hotspur. It's time, guys, it's time to start to savour the moment, to realise that we're back at the big man's table. We're back at the centre circle as we try and buy just a few key players for a few key positions to take Tottenham to the next step. To take Tottenham to a place where trophies are a common feature and Wednesday nights are an ever-present. That's right, sheepies. They agree. It's not going to take too much. All it's going to take is hard work, some discipline, a little bit of research, some decent negotiations from certain people, and not so much negotiations from others. So a little bit of rein control release from the big man at the top of the pyramid, and then allow our Italian duo of Conte and Paratici to identify who are the missing pieces in the puzzle that can close the gap on Liverpool and Manchester City next season. I'm not even worried about Chelsea. I'm not even worried about them. Although they've had some interesting news straight out of the traps. It looks like Jules Koundé is going to join them. That deal's all but done. Which, shows you that deals can get done early. We're going to talk about a couple other transfers that are happening elsewhere, or might be happening elsewhere. One of which is a bit of a dent in my hopes, because I had him at the probably number one or maybe number two slot for a certain key position. Come to that in a second. Guys, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Please hit the like and the share button and the subscribe button, depending on where you're seeing this, and hit the notification bell on YouTube so you can be updated as soon as we drop new content. Look out for a show tonight at 6 PM, guys. Anyway, what's the news? What's the news that's upsetting me? Manchester United have stolen the march in the race to sign Pau Torres from Villarreal. So, according to reports, according to tweets from Marca in Spain, and certainly in the nose from the United camp, they said that Pau Torres, his agent, is planning to fly to Manchester this week to essentially agree the deal to take Pau Torres and put him in a red shirt next season. I mean, this is a player that Tottenham have identified as being first or second choice, depending on who you ask, to fill our left-sided centre-back role. What annoys me even more, if the tweets are true, is that Villarreal are saying that such is their need for money, that they are not even going to ask Manchester United to pay the €65 million release clause because, and I quote, they don't want to miss it for 10 to 15 million euros. If there's any truth to that, and I don't know the legitimacy of the ITKs at Manchester United. But if there's any truth to it, then they could get Pau Torres done and dusted for as little as 50 million euros, which is about 40 million quid, give or take. And it could happen as soon as next week. Now, how do we feel about this? Well, first of all, I mean, it's happening so fast. And this is one of the problems, right? This is one of the problems. It looks like Tottenham right now are busy finalising the deal for Fraser Forster from Southampton. The Goliath goalkeeper, used to play for Celtic, I believe. Played for Southampton. He's 30, not sure how old he is, late 30s, 35, something like that. And listen, I'm very happy with Foster as being a backup goalie. I don't really want him to ever be in the first team, unless of course Hugo Lloris gets injured, and if he does, then I'm okay with someone like Foster stepping in. But if we're busy dealing with that, you know, other clubs are busy dealing with their stuff too. And unfortunately, you know, how many plates can you really spin in the air at the same time? So are we potentially liable here to miss out on our first or second choice left centre back in order to finalise a deal for a goalkeeper that, you know, with best intentions won't play a minute for Tottenham? Or if he does, he'll be playing in the Carabao Cup or something. It's worrying, right? It's worrying, because then if Manchester United, who can't offer Tottenham, who can't offer Pau Torres anything like what Tottenham can offer him, we miss out on Pau Torres, Manchester United are instantly stronger, and Tottenham have one less left-sided centre-back option to focus on. Now, again, I'm speculating here, but if there's any truth to it, is that because Paratici and Conte have actually decided, nah, we're going to get Bastoni, and maybe they've had conversations with Inter about that. Who would, of course, Bastoni, for those who weren't aware, is probably the other one of the first or second choices. Most exciting centre half coming out of Italy right now. He cost a lot more. I can take this back now. Whew. Yeah, probably going to cost about. Well, the Italian president already said that if anyone wants Bastoni, he's going to cost more than what Romero cost Tottenham. So you're looking at least 60 million, 65, 70 million. Which is fine with me. I said this before. I'm fine with Bastoni. I'm excited by Bastoni, and I'm fine with paying up, because I think he is a notch above Pau Torres. But the Pau Torres transfer seemed like it made a lot more sense. It seemed like it was easier. Lo Celso is already at Villarreal. He's coming home, I guess, now the season's over for them, but they want to keep him. They're happy to let go of Pau Torres. Pau Torres is a beast of a player. Why don't we just figure out, you know, a cash plus player deal for Pau Torres where Lo Celso goes the other way? It made sense to me. I think it made sense to a lot of other people as well. And it doesn't look like now that's going to happen. It looks like Manchester United are stealing a march on it, because maybe we're too busy trying to figure out a transfer that's, you know, it's as important in the grand scheme of things. We need to have a reserve goalie with Galini going back home. But I don't know, it's annoying to me that we couldn't do both. Maybe this is why, you know, Paratici's asking to hire a number 2 to help him with his workload, because he is only one man and there's only so many phone calls he can be on at one time. Hopefully it's all just smoke and fluff, but I don't know. You know, some of the people on Twitter were saying these sources are pretty good, pretty strong, very strong, if anything. So, not the best thing to wake up to on a Tuesday morning. I'd at least like to see us be involved in the negotiations. If he ends up choosing Manchester United, I mean, fine, whatever, such is life. But I'd like to see us at least be competing for the opportunity to sign him, because it would have been awesome. Imagine that, like within week 1 of the transfer window opening, bang, we got our goalkeeper decision done and we got our left-sided centre-back done. Like, everyone can then go big sigh of relief, because we're making early waves. And like Brian Daigle always says, shout out to Daigle, you know, I heard him say it the other day, he would like to be seeing Tottenham being linked with stories that say the deal is all but done. And I think that's kind of where we're at with Foster, but it's not where we're at with anybody else, unless you believe the old rumours about Gareth Bale, that Gareth Bale was kind of already agreed to join Tottenham. But like I said the other day, doing my Tottenham walk, I'm not even sure if I really want Gareth Bale anymore. I'm not sure if the transfer makes sense, given with where we are. And the fact that, you know, he might want to retire from football if Wales don't qualify for the World Cup, or if they do and then get kicked out early or something, you know. So anyway, there's that story put to one side. Another story which is emerging today, or yesterday it was, but I didn't do a show yesterday. Gabriel Jesus from Manchester City. That story's being linked. Arsenal were the front runners to sign him. He wants to leave Manchester City. Didn't play that much, or as much as he wanted to over the last couple of seasons. Now that Haaland's coming in, I'm guessing he thinks his days are numbered and wants out. And Arsenal put their hands up and said, we're interested. Allegedly, Tottenham have put their hands up now and said, well, we're interested too. And this will be interesting. If there is any truth to that, it'll be interesting to see, you know, how a big name player like Gabriel Jesus decides between Tottenham and Arsenal based on what each club can offer in terms of access to money, facilities, project, European football, or whether Jesus, and of course when I mention those things I mean that Tottenham can offer more in every way, or would Gabriel Jesus rather go to Arsenal where he's guaranteed to be a first teamer, or at least at the start of his career he would be coming in as a starter, you'd imagine, or would he want to come and be a part of a competitive forward line at Tottenham where he'll probably only get 50% of the opportunities, and then depending on his form will determine whether or not he gets to stay in the squad. And it's interesting, you can learn a lot about a player's ambitions and their character by what sort of choice they would make in that regard. Now, if you remember, Gabriel Jesus was linked with Tottenham last summer and was offered in a make weight if we gave Manchester City Harry Kane. And he at the time intimated that he wouldn't be necessarily against the deal, but Tottenham were not interested in selling Harry Kane, and the rest is history. So is that going to play a part in it? You know, is Gabriel Jesus going to think, well, you didn't want me last year because you'd rather have kept Harry Kane, which tells me that you absolutely value Harry Kane above Jesus? Makes sense. Therefore, Jesus is going to look at that and go, I'm not leaving one club where I'm surplus to requirements or backup at best to join a lower club in the league, at least, for now at least, to play exactly the same role. For me, unfortunately, I think he'll probably join Arsenal, because, you know, he didn't really doesn't want to fight for his place at Manchester City, he probably won't want to fight for his place at Tottenham. If there's truth to the story, and at Arsenal you've got a pretty easy access path to regular first team football. So, you know, I mentioned the other day, how easy is it going to be for Arsenal to buy strikers? And, you know, I like Gabriel Jesus is a great player. He's a very good player, but he's not like world elite. He's not in the top, I wouldn't say he's in the top 20 or 30 strikers in the world. So, I don't know what your thoughts are on him. Do you agree with that? Is he not a top 30 striker? But either way, this, you can already see that that's kind of the level, the limit, I would imagine, that Arsenal can get interest from. Anyone that's a top 10, top 15, they're not going to want to play in the Europa League, even if they can get first team football. But if you're a top 15 striker in the world, you're not surplus to requirements anywhere anyway. So I don't know, maybe I'm rambling. How long have I been talking for? 16 minutes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's plenty more news to get through. We're going to talk about, on today's show, we're going to talk about the two stories we just talked about. We're going to talk about Foster a little bit. We're going to talk about Souček from West Ham. He's being linked with Tottenham. We're going to talk about Jack Harrison from Leeds being linked with Tottenham. Strange one, that one. That's Pirlo, who worked with Jack Harrison, I believe, in America at, was it New York? Can't remember now. But he worked with Jack Harrison, and he got in touch with Paratici. They've got a good relationship, and said, you want to look at this guy, Jack Harrison. Of course, Jack Harrison's a good player. Been playing for Leeds all season, so I don't know if he's the kind of player that Tottenham need or want. I think we can go higher and better. But it's something to discuss. Bunch of other topics too, but I'll keep them a surprise. Ladies and gentlemen, keep a lookout, hit the notification bell, like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you at 6. As always, guys, as always, bye bye.